turned out okay. And 3 weeks, so I finally got this to work.
Why don't we close the blinds? Then I'll have a face.
What?
Close the blinds, then I'll have a face.
Okay.
This is
Introduce it. Would you like to introduce yourself?
yes. My name is Sarah Karloff. I'm Boris Karloff's daughter. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you. So,
yeah, of course, anytime.
so have you been anything? Have you been in any acting gigs yourself?
No, I've not. I've done a lot of podcasts and a lot of documentaries about my father, but certainly no acting of my own.
Have you ever thought about have you ever thought about giving it a try, or did it just not ever really appeal?
Well, I'll tell you a story. When I was visiting my father back east when he was on Broadway in Peter Pan, he arranged for me to see Peter Pan from the wings and out front and from every angle possible. And after I'd been there a week, he said, "Well, I can see that you don't have the fire in the belly to be an actress because you paid more attention to Nana the dog than you did to me."
So, have you?
Are you going to introduce yourself to me?
Oh, sorry. I sometimes forget to do that. I'm Wendell 1988, also known as Lamont.
How do you do? It's nice to meet you. It's nice to be on your show.
Thank
Tell
you.
me about your show.
I talk about history, science, movies, games. I interview people that are knowledgeable in that subject.
Okay. And how did you select me to be on your show? I'm very flattered.
Eric here suggested it.
Air care?
Yep.
What is air care?
What?
What is air care?
Eric here. Eric, this guy, my co-host, suggested it.
Air care?
That'd be you, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had you on my podcast a year ago now. So yeah, and but yeah, since I had such a lovely time having you on my podcast, but yeah, I then decided that I should recommend you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, anytime.
So were you always a fan of your father's work, or?
Well, of course. He's always been my father, so I've always been a fan of his work, certainly. However, it's one of the world's worst kept secrets that I don't like scary movies.
Yeah, neither do I.
Which I find very ironic, considering that you're the daughter of you're a daughter of a horror movie legend. But yet, yeah, it's just so ironic, a twist of events like that. The daughter of a horror movie legend isn't a fan of horror movies.
Well, I know, but that's it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like to be discomforted.
I feel you there. Neither do I. I am terrible at scary movies, bloody movies, all that stuff.
I know. I like a good film with a good script and good acting, but I don't like to be scared out of my seat.
Which I say is completely. I mean, I would say that that's completely reasonable.
So did your father's film never scare you?
No, my father never scared me. My father.
I bet his films.
In his films, the ones I chose to see didn't scare me.
All right. So what was your favorite role that he did?
I think Targets. The one he did with Peter Bogdanovich. It was a very fine film, and Peter directed it and wrote it, and acted in it. My father admired Peter's creativity and talent. The film was about a sniper. It's as pertinent today as it was when it was first released. It was released during the time of Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King's assassination. So
Oh.
it was withdrawn from the theaters prematurely. Um,
Ah.
it's as it certainly is as timely today as as I said, as it was when it was written. My father always felt that the real horror was on the street and not up on the screen. And I think that's as true today as it was in the 60s.
Oh yeah, certainly.
So what do you do? Do you do anything for fun back then or today?
Do I do anything for fun?
Yeah.
I have a wonderfully interesting, exciting life, but it just doesn't involve watching gory movies. I have a lovely family. I love sports, both participating in them and watching them. I just really have a wonderful life.
Awesome. So since you don't
Don't
like to
you?
say that again?
Don't you?
Yeah, I got back from vacation visiting my niece, and I had a fun time. Even though traveling there and to there and from there was terrible, the trip itself was fun.
Well, traveling is traveling is not supposed to be anything but fun. Seeing different places, meeting different people.
Yeah, I said, yeah. Like I said, the travel, the game, the
I
fun.
know, but the traveling itself
Yeah,
can be interesting, educational.
yeah,
You can meet new people.
and I did. Uh,
Good.
so, you said you don't like scary movies. So, what kind of movies do you like to watch?
Oh, I like musicals. I like comedies. Um, I like educational films. I just don't happen to like to be scared.
But yeah, so as far as any of the musicals or comedies go, what would you say are some of your favorites of those particular genres?
Oh my. Um, Singing in the Rain. Um, um, oh, some of my favorite comedies were, um, oh, golly, I love anything Mel Brooks does. It makes me fall out of my seat laughing.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and
Absolutely. It's intelligent comedy.
oh,
And
definitely,
I
yeah.
loved Young Frankenstein, which is a Mel Brooks film.
That movie's hilarious, and in my opinion, I think that like the blind man scene in that, which actually parodies Bride of Frankenstein, of like just
Indeed.
that scene makes me laugh so hard every time, and it's funny, like considering like that the blind man cannot see where he's pouring the porridge, and then like the blind man is pouring it onto like the monster's crotch.
It's very funny.
So,
It's very funny.
so have any modern movies or actors or actresses ever caught in your eye? You like they're good.
Oh, well, I mean, there's so many actors who have followed my father, not followed in his footsteps, but who have followed and risen to fame after my father. I mean, I wouldn't know where to begin. I know that when my father made a film called The Terror and another film called, I think it was not Comedy of Terrors, but um, oh, The Raven. He came home and said, "There's a young man in this film that is really going to go places," and he was talking about Jack Nicholson.
Hmm, nice.
So
Well, that's pretty awesome.
My father had an eye for talent.
Nice. So,
So,
it's like,
oh,
go on.
yeah, sorry. I totally didn't mean to cut you off there. And yeah, just by coincidence, like we both said so at the exact same time. I mean, what are the odds of that? But yeah, I was gonna ask. So I know that you were on set for Frankenstein 1970 with your father.
Yes, yes.
Were you?
I visited him on the set.
But yeah, I guess what are your fond memories of that?
Well, just seeing my father was a very fond memory, and the set photographer took some family photos that day, and that was a lot of fun. And just seeing him perform and rehearse and visiting the set was a lot of fun.
So, did you get to do a lot behind the scenes stuff in the movies?
Did I what?
Get behind the scenes and stuff?
Oh, certainly. Certainly. When I would have the opportunity to visit him on the sets, um, it was always exciting. It was always interesting. Um, it was great. It was great fun. And I would see him in partial makeup and then in full makeup. I would see him in his wardrobe. I would see him shoot various scenes. That's always great fun for any family member.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Yeah. How long did it take to shoot movies back then?
Depended on the movie, depended on the script, depended on the cameraman, depended on the actor, depended on the number of lines. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way to answer that question
Sure.
in any certainty. I mean, if you're shooting one scene or 10 in a day, if you're shooting one actor or three, I mean, there's no way to answer that.
True.
I can answer that question.
True. Did your father have a lot of had to do a lot of retakes, or did you always get done on the first turn?
My father was a very quick study, and he was always prepared for his scenes. I'll tell you something that I learned just last year. My father, as you may or may not know, was the voice and narrator of The Grinch and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And when it was time to make that recording, he did it in one take, which is amazing because he was two different characters in that, two totally different voices, two totally different accents and type of dialogues. And he did the whole thing in one take.
Wow. And I mean, that right there just shows just how talented of an actor that he was.
He was an extremely talented actor who was always prepared for his shoots and always prepared with his dialogue.
So besides Frankenstein 1970, did you ever visit him on set of any of his other films?
Yes, I did. I mean, some that come to mind were the Roger Corman films, such as Comedy of Terrors with Vincent Price and Peter Lorre and Basil Rathbone. Certainly other Roger Corman films. I visited him on the set of several television shows he did, all sorts of things. Frankenstein 1970, as you brought up. So yes, I was very fortunate to visit him on both television and film sets.
Which is very interesting. You mentioned Basil Rathbone, since that Basil Rathbone actually did do Son of Frankenstein
Yes,
with
he
your father.
did. He played Dr.
Was it?
Frankenstein.
Yeah, and also what's interesting is that you actually were born while Boris was filming that movie.
Yes, that's true. I was born while he was making Son of Frankenstein, and I was also born on his 51st birthday.
So yeah, and so knowing that you both share the same birthday, how do you feel about that?
I feel I was probably his most expensive birthday present he ever got.
Which is fair. So yeah, and so knowing that you were born while he was making that movie, what are your thoughts on Son of Frankenstein compared to the other Frankenstein movies that your father did?
You don't really think I went to see that movie at
No.
that time?
No.
I've seen all three, but I never watched them in a comparative fashion. I watched them separately. They couldn't be more different from one another, and I don't watch them judgmentally.
You mentioned that which of your father's films was your favorite? Is there any film that you didn't really care? You that say you didn't, not that you didn't like, but you didn't care. You you didn't care for that much.
If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Okay.
Okay, and that's fair.
How many
yeah.
films do you guys see a week?
I see as many as I can. It's just I'm busy like with school, and yeah, and I actually am pursuing a film career myself, and
You are or are not?
I am.
What aspect of film?
A lot of things: directing, producing, acting.
It's hard to do all three.
Yeah, I'm attempting to be a book writer myself.
Ah, okay. A book on films, or just what kind of a book?
Novels, nonfiction. I mean fiction, not fiction. I was confused.
I'm sorry, novels or fiction?
Fiction.
Fiction. Okay. Okay. Any particular type of fiction?
Fantasy.
Most fiction is.
True. So, can you tell what kind of crew did you do growing up?
What kind of career did I do?
Yeah.
I was a real estate broker, and now the last 20 years, I've made a point of trying to protect my father's legacy.
All right.
I've had a wonderful opportunity to meet thousands of my father's fans, and they are just delightful. And it's due to them that his career and his legacy has such long legs. His fans are wonderful.
Oh yeah, certainly, and yeah, and I can imagine that you feel humbled, knowing that you can continue his legacy, like to meet the fans and sign their stuff.
No, I'm humbled by the fact that I'm able to meet his fans and that they are so wonderful and devoted to his legacy. That's what humbles me. The fans are wonderful.
But so,
yes, I don't know if you have any kids, but are they fans of their grandfather's work? If you have kids of your own?
I have two children, two sons, and they are both very proud of their grandfather's career and legacy, and they're very proud of it.
Did they ever get a chance to meet him before he passed?
Oh, certainly. Certainly, he was their grandfather.
Yeah. So, are they fans of horror movies or are they not?
They're fans of their grandfather as a person and as an actor.
Okay. Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's very awesome. They're very fortunate and they know it.
Do you have any questions for us?
I've been asking you questions. Have you not noticed?
Not really. My
Okay. Well,
Well, I
asked you
have,
what you
so
did and what you liked. And,
yeah, I have a very short attention span sometimes.
okay. Well,
Is it
I was
your
going to
age?
ask you if you had a written list of questions that you had prepared to ask me and how many questions have we gone through and how many more do we have?
I have not. I do not have written questions. I just usually ask questions off the top of my head.
Okay. And what type of interview is your favorite? What type of subject?
My subject. Oh, I like history.
Okay. And your friend?
yeah, I like a wide range of topics. I mean, since I love to entertain people, I would say movies and theater are my favorite topics. But yet, I'm also interested in other topics too, like say dinosaurs and dogs. I am definitely a very very big dog person.
Do you have a dog?
Yes, I do.
What kind?
He's a beagle.
A beagle.
Uh huh.
Do you wanna,
What's his name?
His name is Simba.
TikTok?
No, Simba.
Timba. How old is Timba?
Simba. Simba is 8.
8.
you want to? Is he around? Do you want to
Oh,
show
yeah.
him to the camera?
Yeah, he is. Hey, Simba. Simba, come on. Simba, come on. Come on, Simba.
He has stage fright.
Thank you.
I can't
Simba.
see him because I can't see you guys.
You can't. Oh,
Hey, Simba.
What color is Timba? Brown and white?
Yeah, Simba's brown, black, white. But yeah, Simba. Hi, Simba.
Bailey? Bailey, come here. I know. Oh, I'm sorry I can't see him. I'm a great dog lover. I have a dog too.
Yeah, it's definitely a real shame that you can't see my dog Simba.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, I can't see you guys. Can you see me?
yes.
Yeah, we certainly can.
You
It's okay.
barely can?
No, we can see you just fine.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess question for you: in 2027, the original Frankenstein with your father is going public domain at that time. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there'll be a lot of people who are delighted to be able to use it. And I think Universal will be wishing they'd done things differently.
Yeah, and I mean, considering that that's going to be pretty big when that goes public domain. And I mean, the original book is already in the public domain.
Of course.
But yeah, and so because of that, people can make a Frankenstein movie. It's just the catch is the iconic look of your father, the flat head, the bolts on the neck. That was not in the book, and that's something what Universal did. And so, and then by the time the first movie goes public domain, people can finally use the iconic look.
But my father is not in the public domain,
No.
nor is the name.
No, it's but yeah, as far as my understanding goes, I mean, I'm by no means a copyright expert, but as far as my understanding goes, it's just that iconic look of the flat head, the bolts on the neck. That in 2027 will go public domain.
Jack Pierce's makeup.
Yes.
Yes. But my father does not go into public domain.
True.
Nope. Nope. It's just the Jack Pierce makeup and just not your father's
So
likeness.
when you were a kid or a teenager or whatever, did you ever put on your father's Frankenstein makeup?
No. I only did that once, and that was for a Halloween party at Hugh Hefner's. Did you happen to hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Did you make a? Did it look good on you, or do you think you looked?
I looked like my father in Jack Pierce's makeup. Yes. It's the one and only time I ever let anybody put that makeup on me. And I went to Hugh Hefner's Halloween party.
And at that Halloween party, did you have a fun?
It stopped the party.
Well, that's interesting. That out of all things, life would stop the party.
Hefner was a huge Karloff fan, and I did it as a treat for Hef because he was a huge fan of my father.
Well, I can imagine that must have made him happy.
It was a fun evening. It was a fun evening for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Including myself.
So when you were invited to your first convention to meet your father's fans, how was that experience like?
It was great. I went with Bela Lugosi Jr. and Ron Chaney and Dwight Fry. It was a Famous Monsters of Filmland convention in Maryland. And the fans were delighted that all of us got together and came. And we had a wonderful time. And it was my first exposure to my father's fans. And I had no idea that all of this went on. And they asked me if I'd been down to the dealer's room, and I thought they were playing poker.
Well, I can certainly see why that you would get the mix up like with poker. But yeah.
There were hundreds of dealers there that weekend. And it was lots of fun. Lots of fun meeting the fans. And it was a great convention. So
do you still go to your conventions today, yes, or are you retired from that?
Retired of it? Just because my hair is white, I'm not retired from anything. No, I still go to conventions. I go to the main convention I go to every year. It's called Chiller Theater, and it's held in Parsippany, New Jersey, and it's Halloween weekend.
Always a big crowd?
Thousands of people come. And they have loads of interesting, fun guests, celebrity guests and quasi-celebrity guests.
Yeah, and so was it at your first convention at Famous Monsters of Filmland? wasn't that back in like the early 90s, like 93, I believe?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and that was your first time ever meeting Ron Chaney, like in Bela
Correct.
Jr., right?
Correct. Yeah, it was lots of fun.
Oh yeah, certainly, and
And meeting the fans.
oh yeah, definitely. And you even said once like that you would rather go and meet your father's fans at the conventions rather than to like be at home and clean your oven.
That's true.
Which, and I mean, if I was in your shoes, that's certainly something that I would rather go do as well.
True.
Me too. I can't think of any more questions. Eric,
But
do you have
yeah,
any questions?
I have some more. But yeah, so there actually have been a few remakes of The Grinch. There was one with Jim Carrey, and the other one had Benedict Cumberbatch. Have you seen those other two versions, and what are your thoughts on them?
Why bother?
Yeah, because there's all time saying that if it ain't broke, then don't fix it, right?
Don't fix it. My father won a Grammy for the Grinch.
Yeah, and didn't you say how like your father couldn't attend it, so therefore he had like his agent?
Yes, he had his agent accept the award for him, and then next time my father came over from England to Los Angeles to work, he visited his agent, and his agent said, "Here, Boris, here's your Grammy." And my father took it and looked at it and said, "It looks like a bloody doorstop." And he took it and he put it over by his agent's door.
Nice.
And
So,
left it there. But now
so did you ever read the Grinch book before your father made the movie? Or
sure. Hadn't everybody?
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I didn't read it before. Why didn't read it before you made the movie?
Oh, well, shame on you. It's wonderful.
Missing out, man.
I read it after you made the movie.
Well, that's okay.
Not before.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
Yes, and the artwork of Chuck Jones is just wonderful. I mean, so and Dr. Seuss's work is just wonderful. So I mean, it's a win for everybody.
Oh yeah, certainly, and yeah, and I feel like it has a very appealing universal theme to it, like about
it does. It
like
does.
about like hating something, but then afterwards you end up warming your heart to it, which I had a similar experience. Like I actually hated country music for a long time, but then this year I actually was in a country music video.
Okay. Good.
So, hey, what kind of music do you like listen to?
Soothing.
So, like, say you would like jazz or pop or something.
I love certain forms of jazz. Yes.
But yeah, but I take it that you're not really a fan of like heavy metal, like or rap.
Well, I have some friends who are heavy metal players. I'm a close friend. I'm a good friend of Kirk Hammett.
Yeah, and yeah.
Have you ever?
That's an interesting reaction. Yeah, but
Have you ever tried? Yeah, have you ever sung before or tried singing?
Honey, I'd ruin your day if I tried.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you meet Kirk Hammett at like this convention, like they had Lynn Lugosi at?
I don't know. I've known Lynn for a long time. I've known Kirk for a long time. I don't know. I think I probably met Kirk first, but maybe I met Lynn first. I don't know who I met first. I've probably known Lynn longer. Does it matter?
No, it's just that I just could have swore that I could have saw something like on Instagram, like about how Kirk invited you both like to some sort of event, like that was
And you
being
thought
held.
that was true because it was on Instagram?
Well,
Improved
then
your reading.
and then afterwards, I then looked it up on YouTube, and I'm
Oh, well,
pretty
that made it true.
well, and then afterwards, I then saw like video footage of it.
Of when we first met? I doubt that.
No, no. I'm not talking about when you first met. I'm just like, I'm just talking about like when Kirk invited you both, like.
Oh, we've been
said
invited by
event.
Kirk to places, yes. And Kirk's been invited to places by us.
Awesome.
Oh, I invited Kirk to be the moderator of a panel both Lynn and I were on.
Awesome.
Yes. And we all three had a wonderful time.
Yeah. Well, hey, and I mean, I would say that. Well, hey, and I mean, I would say that that's what matters most.
Yeah.
That's right. We always have a wonderful time when we get together.
So the next convention is coming up in a month and a half. So you ready for the next convention?
Yep. It'll be chiller. I may do I will be doing some other interviews and some other podcasts and some other speeches during October, but it'll be the next convention I do. Yes.
Yes. Awesome.
But yeah, sorry to cut you off. But yeah, I certainly hope that with your next conventions, I certainly hope that you travel safe, and I certainly hope that you have a wonderful time.
Thank you. I'm sure I will, and I have with this interview. I hope you have too. I've enjoyed it very much.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for being on. Thank you. Even though we had a hard time getting it to work, I'm glad we could talk.
Well, I am too. I'm sorry we had such a hard time getting the technology together, but that's my fault because I am not tech savvy.
Well, neither am I really. I could not figure out how to get Zoom to work.
Oh, really? You just put an app on your laptop, and it works. Then you click it and you do a Zoom meeting.
See, even some people, we all have our weaknesses.
We certainly do. It's what makes up the human race.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I hope you have a good day.
Oh, I certainly have had, and I hope you do too. And thank you very much for inviting me on your show.
Yeah.
When will it air?
As I always say, never stop learning. Enjoy the randomness.
Well,
we'll see you next
when
time.
will your show air?
So this is actually live now, and so and so this should be available. From my understanding, it should be available to watch.
I will send
as
you
soon as possible.
I will send you the link when we're done.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I'd appreciate it. Do you have will you send it to me via email or what?
Yes.
And you have my email address?
Yes.
Okay, I would really appreciate that.
Bye.
Okay.